welcome everybody. I'm Laura and I head up partnerships here at Blend Media. So today we've got a few special guests who I'll introduce in a moment, and we're going to be talking about the future of retail and exploring how immersive experiences, and we may come up onto a definition of that, but essentially how AR, VR and extended reality can be used to enhance the shopper experience. So whether that's offline, in a physical store, or as part of a digital experience or e-commerce experience. So it's certainly an exciting time, and technology is progressing at a fast pace. So we want to discuss with our panelists today what's possible now, what some retailers are already doing, and thinking about the future and how we can start planning for the next phase of what's possible. So I will let the panel do a quick introduction, and if you do have any questions, just pop them in the Q&A and we'll come to them at the end of the talk. So Marco, do you want to kick us off with a quick hello?
Yeah, hi everyone, my name is Marco. I'm an independent XR strategy consultant, and I used to be Vice President of Business Development across Europe, Middle East and Africa at Blipper, and prior I worked for Innovation Digital Production Studio Unit 9, and prior for Jaunt XR, a VR technology startup based in Silicon Valley.
Thank you and welcome. Ben, do you want to go next?
Yeah, hi everyone, I'm Ben. I'm currently working at the 7 Stars as Head of Commerce. I'm advising a host of kind of clients around commerce strategy. That's anything from how we understand kind of the growth audiences and opportunities, how they shop the category, really getting into the skin of the customer journey, and how we can design better customer experiences for clients as well. I've worked on a host of kind of retail clients in the past, Tesco, Amazon, and even the ill-fated kind of home-based Bunnings launch and closure, which was super interesting from an insight perspective. So, hello everyone.
Thank you again, welcome, and Amrita.
Hi everyone, hello from Italy. I'm Business Development Manager at Obsess, and I'll be going deeper into what we do at Obsess, but in short, we're on mission to reinvent the online shopping interface that has been, a quarter century old from the time it first was created by Amazon to sell books, and was used this grid of 2D images on a white background interface, whether you're buying for fashion or beauty or jewelry or electronics, whatever category it is, whatever price point it is at. Today, we still see everything still being sold in the same way as, a Colgate toothpaste on Amazon. So we're really bringing this layer of experiential into online shopping, making it more fun and exciting and engaging for, discovery-driven categories. And as we go further in the session, I'll be sharing my screen and showing some live demos as well.
Great, thank you and welcome again. So I guess a good place to start is, shops have opened again in the UK in the last few weeks, but over the last 12 months, we've done more online shopping than ever before, but we were already doing more online shopping. So where do we sit now? Are retailers, and Ben, you can maybe take this, are retailers thinking about getting people back into store, or are they just focusing on their e-commerce and their online solutions?
Yeah, both. Look, I mean, I think over the last year, obviously a lot of our clients have had to pivot, right? They've invested heavily in e-commerce, and that's helped them kind of maintain that growth over the last 12 months, but it's added quite a bit of complexity to their business as well, right? So, more touch points, more channels, more routes to market, and that's added complexity kind of around like operations and supply chain, right? And then now we've got physical stores that are opening again as well. And I think that's a real dilemma for a lot of our clients, is what do you start to prioritize? Because on the one hand, they've got to keep growing that kind of the online kind of e-commerce space, but equally we've got to get people into the physical stores because they're kind of huge cost center as well. So it's really like trying to understand, those kind of like shoppers and which ones want to shop in store, which ones want to shop online, and which ones want to do both. and designing kind of like the experience for those different audiences, I think, is where a lot of our kind of clients are starting to think. But definitely, yeah, if you've got physical stores, we've got to get people in there. What's kind of interesting is what those physical stores become. And in some cases, clients are starting to think about, actually, do we change the layouts, the dynamics, do we use them as kind of like warehousing and distribution? I think that's going to be interesting. And that's starting to kind of happen with some of our clients.
And just a follow up to that, I guess, are they thinking about immersive technologies as a way to improve that in-store experience?
Yeah, so I think so. Definitely, because obviously what we've kind of seen is that over the last 12 months, audiences are kind of shifted how they've used like online, I suppose, in e-commerce, and it's very much moved to this kind of inspiration discovery rather than this kind of rational purchasing, right? So what they're kind of like, a lot of our clients is, they've got a whole host of new audiences, right, that have come into their brands that have never really shopped with them before. And those audiences are now kind of young, old, and have different expectations and different ways of shopping. So it's about now starting to understand what those audiences, who those audiences are, how they shop, and actually designing like experiences for them. And certainly, I think, our clients are at the beginning of that journey, but are using things like visual search within that kind of website. They're looking at, in some cases they kind of use AR through Facebook. There's the kind of like the 360 kind of product reviews that clients are starting to use more of. And certainly just creating a kind of more engaging and entertaining shopping experience is definitely on the agenda for this year, I think. But it's going to be a bit of a, I guess it's how you accelerate that, which, that's the kind of challenge.
Yeah. And I guess following on from that, Amrita, you obviously deal with clients on a regular basis. And what has been the reason for them coming to you? When you start your journey talking to a client, you mentioned, I think you probably quote how many more increase in inbound queries you've had about your virtual stores. I mean, what do you think has been the root of that and the increase?
Yeah, so I think just tying up to what Ben said, that today customers are, the online shopping for all the years that it has existed, the focus has been speed and checkout. But today customers are looking for something more, which is experience and discovery, and making it, unless you're buying something like supermarket stuff or just every day to put in the fridge, they are looking for that inspiration because they are used to visual content. We all spend so much time online on Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube. It's a gaming generation. So how to translate that also online, and that's where we get a lot of inquiries, and since last year, like, we've got 400% increase in our inbound from the time we first started. And earlier it used to be, let's say, the innovation teams coming with inquiries on let's do AR or VR, but since last year it's the retail teams, the merchandising teams, the marketing teams that come, and the inquiry is more virtual stores and virtual flagships. So it's not anymore about the tech and that let's do something innovation related. It's more let's do something experience related, something human, something social. We as humans, we are used to seeing the world in a spatial format. So obviously it makes sense that also online, if you're able to shop products in this 3D 360 spatial format, there's just a natural intuitive way to shop online. It's bringing higher product recall, higher brand recall. And even just the behavior that we have, that hey Laura, let's weekend and shop together this weekend. Let's have that quality time together. But it never got translated online. So social e-commerce is another sort of trend that we're going to see this year and over the years, and it's going to translate into online. And those are the sort of inquiries that we get and that we are starting to deliver with our clients across categories.
Yeah, I think that social e-commerce is maybe something we'll come on to later. But Marco, just to get your viewpoint from kind of your experience working with clients, what has been that starting point that how they've...
Yeah, I mean, I've been working with brands before at Blipper and Unit 9, and now I'm kind of focusing on kind of a broader spectrum of clients, like agency, media owners, commercial brands. And the reality is that they're all now looking very actively at immersive technologies, in particularly augmented reality, because everyone has a smartphone in their pocket. But the reality is that this ecosystem has been growing and maturing over the last 10 years very steadily. And so a lot of these clients now are facing with a dilemma, because there are so many flavors and possible execution for just augmented reality that very often they don't have the tools, and they don't have, through their designated agencies, very often the partners to actually decide whether it's better to do for a web AR experience or building a social AR lens on Snap or Instagram, or actually embedding AR capabilities into a pre-existing mobile application. Gartner estimates that this year there will be 100 million users that will shop through online and augmented reality. And another Gartner subsidiary called GetUp surveyed nearly 1,000 users in September 2020 in the UK, and they found that 15% of them had already used augmented reality as part of their shopping, and then nearly half were interested in going to retailers, brands that allow those capabilities. So we're now really in a sort of golden era, I believe, of the power of augmented reality, not only to deliver, gimmick experiences, but to actually help retailers and brands deliver ROI. And one of the most interesting companies, in my opinion, that has been kind of really pioneering and pushing the envelope in terms of what is possible with augmented reality is Ikea. They released a first mobile app called Place in 2017, and now they just announced a revamp of this app called Studio, initially available only for iOS users, taking advantage of the latest LiDAR scanner that Apple has equipped the latest iPhone 12, and it will basically unlock a whole new set of capabilities. So if you don't mind, Laura, I'd like to share a quick video.
I've seen this actually, and it is pretty cool, and I already think of kind of how it can make my life a bit easier. I think it doesn't so much feel like a novelty anymore.
Yeah,
I think that the user experience of this is just one mark I'll share, and the user experience is always key to a kind of a solid experience, because if it's something that's too technical for a consumer to use, then they're just going to get frustrated, and it needs to be something simple that feels intuitive.
Yeah, I found the video, so let's have a quick look.
We can share this video in the channel as well afterwards, or in the follow-up email. So with this, and Marco, you probably know a little more about this. Is this something that's accessible to everybody via the app?
Yeah, so fundamentally, the app will allow users to entirely scan 3D rooms, place different objects like pieces of furniture in that room, customize other aspects of the room, such as wall colors, ceilings, place kind of lighting fittings, interact with AR objects such as lights and turn them on and off, and kind of really give them a much richer canvas to pre-visualize, customize their room, and then export those files in 3D and 2D. Currently, this app has been announced by the studio who developed, which is actually part of Ikea, lacks the connection with their retail e-commerce app and web store, but it's something that they will add. It's part of the roadmap. So I think when this last part will be integrated, we will see, incredible, a very strong impact in terms of increased purchase, so the average basket size, and also the reduction of returns, because by the simple fact that now users don't have to travel 30 miles to their Ikea stores and do a big part of that kind of testing and setting of the object through the app, it will certainly benefit their bottom line. And so I see now that a lot of clients are actually harnessing the power of this technology and think about more impacting the ROI and the bottom line of their e-commerce operation, rather than just doing, gimmicky, cool effects for the sake of it.
Yeah, I think that's sorry, Ben, did you have something to add there? No, I was just going to kind of highlight that yes, I think it's like obviously the integration with being able to buy it straight away is really key to kind of completing that consumer journey. I guess a lot of it comes back to the kind of adoption and the accessibility of the technology and whether everyone feels comfortable using it. And I don't know, Ben, kind of what your viewpoint is on how the clients kind of appetite for these experiences, and maybe have dabbled in kind of AR before, or what would be some of the barriers for them?
Yeah, I think was it Marco might have touched on this before, but I think it's probably a bit of a knowledge gap on the client side. Firstly, I think there probably hasn't been enough. We probably haven't done a good enough job of surfacing real kind of good user cases like that. Yeah, Ikea example. I think, in a way, the likes of Snap and Instagram have done a great job in terms of pushing AR, but it's kind of come across as a bit gimmicky in the past. And I know that's changing and evolving, and the technology's kind of come a long way. But it's how do you get those kind of IKEA examples, the likes of what a lot of the kind of fashion brands are doing, out into the hands of more people, right? And actually showing genuine business benefit, I think, and then clients learn from that, right? If you see that your competitors are doing it, then you want to do it, right? And I think also then it's having the people that can build those experiences. You think, like traditional kind of creative rosters doesn't really kind of cover that skill set. So where do you go to get those
exactly
to build those creative experiences as well? So I think they're kind of two big barriers.
Yeah, Ben is absolutely right, and I think he touched on a very interesting point, which is reach, etc. Building a bespoke app with certain AR functionality is not for everyone. Ikea, I think, has hundreds of millions of customers worldwide. It's one of those few brands that can command their customers to download and use an app because there's a clear use case. But there's also other technology for brands that don't want to take the risk to investing in building and maintaining an app, in creating slightly less powerful experiences to still deliver try-on product visualization, etc. One of them is Web AR, which is a technology that I'm very fond of and is kind of really growing and maturing steadily over the last year. And company like 8th Wall are kind of really pushing the envelope in terms of what is possible in a browser. But basically with Web AR now, any advertiser can activate pretty much their entire portfolio of touch points simply with a QR code or a link, and then allow those touch points to then generate through the smartphone in the browser without any additional app and augmented reality experiences. I was testing yesterday a car configurator by BMW, which allow you to place the car in your living room, which has been done a million times. But then he had additional feature just allowing you to customize the interior of the car, the exterior paint. You could also do this operation by kind of voice control, voice gesture, etc., etc. So Web AR, I'm finding, is a technology that a lot of clients have never heard of, and they just don't know that exists. They're kind of still thinking in this paradigm, AR, I have to build an app for that, but that isn't the case. And then the other, obviously, version, if you are kind of really hungry for reach and delivering these experiences to users, as you mentioned, all the social platforms, starting from Snap, which is leading the charge, have now invested for 5 or 6 years into their AR functionality, and so they can easily complement their targeting and kind of reach capabilities now with functional AR formats, which brands can now do very easily on those platforms.
I was just going to build on it because I saw the BMW. It's a really, really good example of because that was one of the barriers I was going to talk about. Is also traditionally, as you say, Marco, it's built in an app, right? And unless you're a kind of loyal customer of that brand, then a normal shopper doesn't really get to see it. So I think the BMW is interesting in two fronts because it's web based, so you don't have to have the app. Equally, it kind of takes you out into a different category, different audience. Because I think traditionally, kind of AR is predominantly being used by high-end, fashion and beauty, and it very much talks to a kind of younger, kind of millennial audience, right?
Absolutely.
But when you start kind of take it out to the BMW world, that's kind of a much kind of older, wider, bigger market. So I think that's kind of interesting, and they're the kind of examples that we just need to kind of surface more. I'm sure the rest of the automotive sector, for example, are looking at BMW and thinking, "God, why haven't we been doing that for the last year?" I can't believe it's taken a year, to be honest. But
yeah. I mean, it's like the kind of AR car launch. I mean, has been done many times, but I mean, sometimes it was done with the wrong underlying technology. Sometimes you just place this 3D model, in your living room, spin it. There was no added value. It was a bit dry, but the amount of stuff that you can now do even in web AR is becoming really interesting. If you guys don't mind, I had another video about what we just discussed, which would be good to share. So this is another recent example of a web AR activation done by Lego, which is another very kind of forward-thinking brand that has been looking into AR now for a number of years. They have a kind of co-branding with Adidas, so they periodically release collection of apparels around certain themes, etc. This is the latest collection on Lego Dots, which is kind of Lego range for decoration and accessories. And so they presented with this web AR experience a kind of 3D dressing room in which the audience, in this case obviously slightly younger, a bit more playful, can engage with the clothing, and personalize them on the mannequin within the AR experience. So tons of playability, interactivity, and fun directly, basically, served in a kind of web browser with no app.
And did you say, is this accessible just from a QR code?
Yeah, so this basically, a QR code could be placed on any physical touch point, so a magazine page, a Lego box, anything physical, or if you want to launch it from a digital support, then similarly, you can just basically embed the link, and this could be paid media, an email marketing campaign, a social post, anything which can carry a link or a QR code now gives this web AR technology a lot of versatility in terms of utilizing existing channels and entry points, and then convert those audiences into kind of these highly immersive experiences.
I think that you can also, there's kind of, I guess, taking a step back to doing something that was like that in some of the social platforms. I think Snap have also had kind of a virtual store with a retail brand where it's kind of opened up via Snap, and then you've got the experience.
Yeah, this is the last video, and then I'll stop, guys, sharing my screen. But this is another interesting example. Snap kind of really pioneer in camera technology and computer vision. They've been kind of adding more and more capabilities to their camera for many years, and they've done a number of partnerships with a lot of luxury brands, allowing customers to basically try on shoes and accessories, in particular watches. This is a recent project they've done with the launch of the Dior B27 sneakers, where the try-on technology basically was made available through a lens that on the official Dior page on Snap, but then also kind of distributed with pay media across different Snap ads. So according to Dior, this has kind of been one of the most successful ever digital activation, and it generated nearly 2.3 million views, and then nearly 3.8 return on advertising spend. So again, away from the kind of gimmick experiences. I mean, here we see real value in getting actually consumer to get as close as possible as the kind of real physical store experience by try them, the shoes on them, and then being able to capture videos and photos, share it with their friends, asking for feedback, and so forth and so on. The experience was supporting 6 different models selected from the kind of horizontal carousel available from the lens, as you guys can see.
Yeah, I think that I've seen some kind of some tests for more body tracking in Snap as well. So I think we'll only see more virtual tracking,
yes,
especially for fashion brands in Snap over over the coming weeks. I guess thinking back to, and Amrita, you probably got a viewpoint here of kind of how brands do think about their kind of physical store and their digital store, and how those kind of, they can marry up the two experiences. So you've worked with a lot of clients in this space, and thinking about both experiences, and you know, customer goes to in-store and how you replicate that real experience online. Have you got a few examples that you can talk us through?
Yeah, just to add on to the previous conversation first on, the gimmicks of when you think of technologies like AR, VR, these are technologies that we've been talking about for so long. And if you think about VR, the first thing that people talk about is, oh, headsets. But how many people have headsets today? So, is it something, or when you say app download and build something, they're very specific for loyal customers. So are you creating channels, or experiences that are for very targeted clients, or is it open for all? And that is where web VR comes in. And today, with the hardware and just the 5G kicking in, just the technology that we have, there's so much possibilities that is all web based that you don't even need a headset. And that's really the knowledge and what Ben was talking about, that the retailers are learning in these years, that or months, I would say, that so much is possible literally in the pockets of of customers, from iPads to Android phones to iPhones. You can just swipe up on Instagram, land directly into a 3D 360 immersive experience. You don't have to have a headset. You don't need to download any special app. You want to see an AR, let's say a bag in your space, you can directly click on that from your mobile device and see it. So you don't really need any specific add-on, just steps and minutes and seconds within that customer journey, to which makes retailers think that, is it even worth it? Are customers going to stay and do all of these steps to just get this experience? So that brings back to how are we making these technologies accessible for the retailers and also for the end customers? And that's really what we're trying to do at Obsess. So just to show some sort of examples live. So this is for Charlotte Tilbury. It's a fully digitally created experience. It's Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Wonderland. So just like in a retail environment, when you step into a brand's retail store, you're entering the world of that brand. So same way in a VR, in a virtual experience now, when you look at this, like, first of all, Charlotte appears,
darlings, this is so
and
exciting.
welcomes customers into the experience. Then you can click on any of the products, you can try them on. So we can integrate with AR services, so they don't have to leave the experience. They can simply click on it, try the lipsticks on, they can choose different colors. It's fully commerce integrated. So the videos, the images, everything is dynamically pulled out in real time as the customers are going through these experiences and choosing these different colors, and they can add these products to their bag. They can see information about them. And this experience is, available in all the languages and in local languages and currencies that the brand exists in. So it's super customized and also just very human. You can take selfies in the experience. You can, in these experiences, you can invite friends, shop the experience together. You can also, let's say you like something, you want to share it on your social accounts. So you can just click on any of these and you can, share it anywhere. You can also see live stream sessions. So any session with makeup artists. So it's here we integrate with their live streaming platform. It simply plays as a video.
Hi everyone, welcome to.
And you can book appointments one-on-one with makeup artists. You can see so much of information of reviews and the impact. This is their bestseller magic cream. So these sort of dynamics where when you enter the space, there's already a one product highlighted environment. So everything, whether it's the background text or the cream that's rotating, all of this just immerses you into the brand experience like never before online specifically. And here, like, you can choose, and it's so easy to use, and it's all optimized for mobile viewing. So, just like everything, we see 80% of the traffic coming first from mobile. So these all experiences are built for mobile first. Basically customers, so this is for Ralph Lauren, so they are going from the brand side to access all these experiences. And establishing these experiences, not just one sort of gimmick or one-time experience, but you can see here, like, it's becoming a permanent part of the brand's sites, and they're seeing great returns on investments, and that's why it's permanent. It's becoming its own established sales channel, distinct from the other two channels of e-commerce and retail. So here you have a whole page dedicated to virtual stores. You can click on any of them. So actually Beverly Hills was the first one that we did with them, and they were seeing up to 10 times higher virtual foot traffic with that. And with that success, they decided to do 11 more virtual stores with us across from Paris to Hong Kong to Palm Beach and so on. And you can simply click on any of these experiences and land directly into this 3D 360 experience. I'll just turn off the music. So, and it's completely customized.
Sorry, just to mention that, to make I guess the distinction for some people, this is a kind of photographs, 360 photographs versus the virtual world that was created. So these are the actual stores that you created for Ralph Lauren.
Yeah, exactly. So we can create experiences that can be fully, digitally created from scratch, and that can look like anything, or they can also be, virtual extension of their retail stores. So now customers from anywhere in the world can access these stores. So essentially, you are increasing the audience of a physical retail space and making it accessible and shoppable from anywhere at any time. You can click on these sort of hotspots. You can see, lookbook images. You can book appointments to visit the store, or have a curbside pickup, or have an appointment with, sales associate for a private in-store appointment. So you can see a lot of services, and it becomes sort of a one-stop shop for discovering all the digital services that the brand has in store and online. So it's really, this bringing the best of the two worlds. So online is obviously the comfort of just shopping from anywhere, whenever, and a retail space which is so branded, and that has been the focus for retailers for all these years. So now you can bring the best of both worlds and put it together through these virtual experiences that are web-based, easy to use, easy to access. And yeah, you can have so much. You can also even turn your content into commerce, because now you can, give life or longevity to content that would just go, on digital channels, but would be played for a couple of, let's say, days or maybe weeks. But now it stays within this sort of permanent experience. And yeah, these virtual stores update as the brand launches new collections, as their physical stores update. So it's very dynamic, and this is for beauty or fashion. But if I were to talk about another sort of experience, which is for Sam's Club, part of Walmart. So I'll show you two experiences just to give flavor of both. So this is this is what we did for Christmas, where you could essentially go in. This is a home inspired by a famous, holiday film. So you can go around this space, and Sam's Club is members only. So here you can click on different products. Some of them are for members only, and some are open for all. So you can essentially make that end purchase by going around this very intuitive sort of environment. And you can switch the themes between these two, and all the products within the space are switching along with the theme that you're choosing. And we saw extremely high engagement with this experience, because, let's say you are deciding for Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner, and now if you're able to see the layout set up in a way that's so natural, you might not be even thinking of, let's say, this setup of candles. But now when you see it in this very real life setup, as you would probably use it, there's a higher basket size, there's higher, conversions happening, because it's just natural for humans to shop this way. And just one last experience, sort of to talk about what Sam's Club did recently, is a photographed experience where they asked 4 different designers in 4 different cities to, create these pop-ups for spring, and you can essentially learn tips and tricks from the designer. You can also jump to different cities and see the different outdoor environments in all these 4 different cities, and then shop the Sam's Club products in this very sort of contextual space for your backyard. And here you can click on again, and it's all customized because we white label. So when it's Sam's Club, it's customized to Sam's Club. When it's Dior or Ralph Lauren or Tommy Hilfiger, it's all customized according to the pricing, the fonts, the colors, the buttons. Everything is completely customized and branded to the specific retailer. So really making these experiences, first social, branded, easy to access, and very, very immersive and discovery driven.
And thank you, Amrita. And I guess on that point, I know the Charlotte Tilbury example has been kind of widely shared and kind of lauded as a really great example of a virtual store. And I know you're working on the next iteration of that. I mean, what was that kind of journey with Charlotte Tilbury? Did they come to you and want to do a pilot, and then they go on to develop something much more kind of built out into incorporate more products? How did it work with them?
Yeah, so actually, most of the brands that we're working with today are quite advanced in their requirements in how they're thinking about the virtual sales channel. Specifically, they would come up with a brief on, so in this case, for their holiday, their retail team was creating these pop-ups, and they wanted to create an extension of it, but not a complete exact extension, but inspired by those sort of pop-ups that they were creating for holidays. So this is a space that is taking inspiration from their holiday pop-ups that they built physically, but adding in those digital elements, because the beauty of digital is, you can go beyond the physical world and create anything, because now we're not held by square meters or, gravity. We can be building experience as a private jet, as an underwater, or like this Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Wonderland. So their team was, they already had the idea, and usually now we're getting, requests of it from brands. They already have briefs very detailed of what they want and their vision with it, and then we specialize in bringing that vision to life in 3D and on our platform with all these fully e-commerce integrated experience.
I guess the clients that you're speaking to are at the next stage, and Ben, I wonder if that's, I guess, just got you thinking about what is that first step for some of your clients that you're speaking to. Do you think a virtual store, is that a solution, or are they, baby steps, hand holding, they want to pilot, they want to see the ROI? What's their journey?
No, I think it's really interesting. Certainly some of the conversations that I've been having is clients are kind of starting to think about what the role of their website is. I think, over the last 12 months, we've kind of seen a lot of kind of consumer behaviors change and shift. And in some cases, kind of come out actually thinking that some of our products are just best for in store. It's just easier, right? So actually our website should be more about inspiration and education and discoverability. So I think, that's starting to happen. What I guess we've been trained over many years that in terms of what the role of that website is something that's quite functional, and it's optimized to like conversion. It's about efficiency, and I think it takes some quite brave to kind of challenge and educate the internal stakeholders, right, in a business. Going to kind of CEOs and saying, actually, we think our website should be much more immersive and less about the conversion, but inspiring, and then how we then connect that into the physical store experience. I think clients are starting to think about that. To the extent of Charlotte Tilbury, that's quite a big jump from someone who's using a website just to convert. But certainly, I think that's the journey for some clients that we need to take them on. I guess an example of that is, we work with opticians, and actually I think they kind of realize that, buying prescription glasses, for example, online is really complex. It's easier to do it in store, and therefore actually how do we use the website to engage people, to get people to kind of try the glasses on, and then they're actually primed when they go into the store. How do we connect those, that almost like, the wish list or the products they want when they walk into physical store? We know what they've been trying on, what they've been looking at. So I think there's defining what those roles are, and what, the website versus the physical store, what those jobs do. I think that's where we're at. But certainly clients are kind of questioning, what the role of things like the websites are, even the kind of ecosystem a little bit.
I think it's very much blended in. So it's not, it would be very hard to, put umbrellas on this is the function of retail, or this is the function, like, tables of this is the function of e-commerce, and so on. So what we're going to see more is a blend of what a true omni-channel customer journey is going to look like, where you can connect the dots. And it wouldn't be really, correct to say that turning e-commerce completely into, from functional to just experiential, but it is, experience comes along with conversion. That's the, a sort of direction that we are seeing from the data, and that's what the retailers have to try and test to see that, if there's higher content for customers to engage, the higher they're going to stay in the experience, the higher they're going to, the increased is going to be the basket size, and as a result, increased conversion rates. And once you do it, then you see the logic that it's all a cycle of content turning into commerce, or experience turning into conversions, and it's all interconnected in a cycle. Rather than a linear of we cut down e-commerce into transaction, and then there's experience layer, and then there's retail, which is the real driver. I think it's going to be a lot more blended in together of all these channels.
Yeah, I think it certainly, I guess, needs to be joined up, that full kind of omni-channel approach. And I think, we'll see more experiences in store that are almost kind of replicating those digital experiences you may have at home. So, for example, I don't know if you've seen kind of Amazon's hair salon that's opening this week. They're going to be using augmented reality technology in the salon to kind of try, different hair colors and different styles. And, that's another way to kind of add that layer of conversion when you're in the store and in the experience. And I think certainly, especially when it comes to kind of beauty and in-store testing, within a post-COVID world, are people really going to be picking up products or even trying them on in store and physically touching things as much? And I think AR technology being used in store can really kind of lend itself to that. Don't touch things, but you can still, augment and see what things look like, whether you're, using a virtual try on a smart mirror, or you're, virtually trying on the lipstick in store to help conversion. So there's a way to use those experiences you create both in store and in physical,
absolutely,
digital experiences. Again, Marco, have you seen any other good examples recently of brands created kind of thinking about what's next and how they can really enhance that shopper experience?
Yeah, I mean, I think the kind of apparel, fashion are certainly the vertical that has done a lot more experiments in the last 12 years, from really facing because of a necessity, like becoming innovative, like how to present collection. And we've seen Balenciaga, I think, which presented their entire collection through an interactive web-based game. So it was an interactive gamified story delivered over the web, which had incredible amount of reviews, the majority of them very positive. And so looking at the examples that Amrita was presenting, like that's kind of really pushing from a technological perspective, what a website can do now thanks to the Web 3D standards. But there's also kind of other intermediate solutions which I like traditional websites, like Farfetch has done a number of integration to kind of allow now through other companies like a Reactive Reality and Zikit to basically transform how you visualize a garment onto a model in 3D, which normally is either photos or video. Now you can basically project different sizes onto kind of a 3D avatar as part of the normal website. So we're seeing a lot of integration into kind of bringing 3D elements within a traditional website version, whether that's desktop or mobile. So there's basically a lot of different flavors in terms of what fundamentally 3D content can do for digital e-commerce that we're seeing.
Yes, and just a reminder for people to put forward your questions. We've had a couple, so I'll just go to the questions. One from Carol. So in your experience, where do retailers reach most of their audience or new audiences using AR? Is it social media, web AR, or apps? I guess I don't know if Marco, if you want to take that one.
Yeah, I think it's a great answer. I think app, if you're big enough, if you have enough consumers, if you have enough budget. But for the vast majority, the answer is probably no. And so I would say, look at web AR and social AR as complementary. Social AR becomes an extension of your social media strategy. So I'm pretty sure the vast majority of retailers are doing stuff on social media. So there is now the ability to add an AR lens. And then web AR allows you to connect audiences outside of the walled garden. So web AR can basically drive and convert users from any other channel, owned and operated, physical, packaging, mail, into immersive experience. So both are kind of really very powerful tool that should be kind of used in a complementary fashion.
Yeah, I think it's down to the ease of use really, and kind of how mainstream your audience is and
budget as well. Like, obviously building for 2-3 different platforms costs more than just building for one platform. That's obviously always the case.
And speaking of budget, we have had that question of how much does all of this cost? So Vincenzo, kind of his question, what type of budgets are you working with for your clients? And I guess that is always the question that clients want to know. How much is something like this going to cost me? And it's a difficult one to answer because it depends what type of experience.
Yeah, this is the really $1 million question, and unfortunately there isn't a rate card, because fundamentally building AR is part of digital craft, so it's kind of creating something from scratch. But I would say the bigger range is probably 40 to kind of 150K allows to kind of build the majority of the experiences that we've seen for AR. And then maybe Amrita wants to chip in terms of kind of immersive e-commerce stores.
Yeah, I would say the same, that it really depends on, if you're doing a rendered experience or photographed experience, the effort, and it's very crafted to, the requirements. So I would say a ballpark would be to, 100K could be a good ballpark to say that for experience of that sort.
I think from I guess the starting point of, say, a virtual try on with a snap filter is a much lower barrier to entry. The cost of creating something like that isn't nowhere near as much, and you've still got the e-commerce capabilities within that filter experience. So yeah, I think Vincenzo just asked about the Ralph Lauren example. Would that was a photographed example?
Yeah, so we've done actually with Ralph Lauren hybrid examples of photographed and rendered together. Some are completely rendered and some are photographed. So it really depends. Obviously, the ballpark stays on, as I said, but it depends on different sort of I'm seeing as I'm speaking, I'm seeing questions. So no, we don't. It's a completely another technology. So we're not using 360 cameras. We use standard HDR cameras, and then we have in-house solution to create this very high resolution photorealistic experience, and then making it e-commerce focused.
Then we've had another question from Amal around kind of what should brands and companies do to educate themselves on those technologies. You know, we all know once you need to try it yourself before you really see the benefit of it. I mean, how do you handle that, Ben? If kind of
Ben, you want to go, and then maybe I'll chip in on the more kind of technical side.
I mean, there's a few ways in, really. I mean, like, look, I guess the big tech companies, I don't know, you know, if you're close to the kind of the Facebooks, the Snaps of this world, you know, they've got tons of examples, tons of resource. They do innovation days. You know, you can kind of educate by getting closer to the tech companies. Look into your kind of agencies as well. I mean, agencies should be looking to push this type of experiences now, educating clients on what you can do and the creative possibilities as well. And then I guess just immersing yourselves in this world a little bit, you know, reading as much as you can, you know, trying to understand as much as you can, and just staying close to it, I guess, is probably my advice. And Marco, you've probably got more bills on that.
Yeah, I mean, this space is obviously has been growing a lot, and I'm now kind of speaking with clients, like, you know, I realize that there is a growing number of outlets out there that are capable of building the AR, and some of them are kind of started from scratch. Some come from the VFX, audiovisual production world. Some are coming kind of from the kind of innovation. Some are coming from mobile app development, etc. So identifying the right partner, which not only has the right skill set to build, but actually maybe has specific experience in the same vertical where the client is, and obviously also knowing the budget and the lead time that each studio can do the job for is absolutely essential. And, you know, in the UK alone, I've kind of done a rough calculation that there's probably more than 100 outlets out there actively in the UK which are now capable of building AR experiences. But that number is probably bigger if we include freelancer and kind of micro outlets, like, you know, 2-3 people, etc. So there's a vast ocean of vendors, of partners out there that you know, need to be kind of navigated in a way.
And I think, you know, without doing a plug about Blend Media, but that's where we sit really. I think we've recognized the needs that there are people that want to get started with immersive and don't quite know how to do it really. There's a kind of a whole heap of solutions on one side that, you know, there could be freelancers maybe not used to dealing with bigger agencies, or there could be, you know, smaller studios that are doing really amazing work. They just haven't got, you know, the connections to brands. So, which is why we're trying to build that community, so therefore we can match people to the right businesses.
Exactly.
I think part of the, you know, the problem as well, as we were kind of discussing this earlier, is understanding what a brand's specific challenges are, and not just saying here's what AR can do for you. It's actually, what's your problem, where are your challenges, here are some solutions, one of them may be AR. I think we're certainly just seeing that AR can do a lot of things for a brand that people haven't considered before, especially for retailers. We've had another question from Anonymous. Where should e-commerce software players, so the equivalent of Shopify, start on this journey? Not sure who wants to take that one, but I know obviously Shopify have recently released some stats that said that people that try something with AR, you know, the percentage of them going on to purchase something is huge. So I think it's good to have those kind of fundamentals and have that accessibility from the off to enable somebody to either do the 3D product spins, or to be able to kind of view in the room or virtual try on as part of building that e-commerce website.
Yeah, from what I saw, like, you know, all these big retailers which have identified now for a long time the role and power of immersive technologies can do for their business, they are just too big to kind of, you know, hire a studio. So they end up kind of building their in-house team, which is fully proficient in actually creating and embedding those immersive technologies as part of their technology stack, so application, website, etc. If it's more for a, you know, campaign-based execution, it's probably more cost efficient to obviously hire a third-party studio, etc. But those big retailers that, like, you know, the Shopify and Ikea, they all have now fully proficient developer teams in-house, which are actually building then shipping these solutions as part of their digital consumer products.
I think someone like an Amazon, so L'Oreal had the technology, the virtual try-on technology built by Modiface that they used on their own websites, and that's now, they then bought Modiface, and that's now integrated on Amazon, on Pinterest. They use that technology as a plugin on lots of different platforms. So, and there's, I guess, easy ways for integration.
Yeah.
We've had another question here. Will interactive 2D videos on social media platforms kill VR websites? Not sure on that one. I think, I guess the VR websites, well, the virtual showrooms that we've seen with Amrita, I think they're all part of, a complementary journey. I think interactive videos are great and serve a purpose, but I think that the kind of, there's a much more immersive experience could be held that's kind of browser based, and also could be in a headset, which we know that numbers of headsets are increasing, so that having that dual capability of a virtual website.
Yeah, I was going to add, I mean, on that, we kind of touched on it with the platforms and the ecosystems, right? Facebook and Instagram are kind of building their own ecosystem, walled garden, but that's going to get even more immersive. Amrita touched on it earlier. So I think social commerce is probably going to be a bit of a game changer when you kind of feed in all this visual content and you feed in, community and conversational. Equally, Amazon, as you kind of touched on, they're at I suppose they've got the marketplace, but it's only going to get richer and more immersive as, content gets richer and they start to kind of feed in more immersive experiences. And then you kind of got Google as well, which I guess links to, websites are a big part of the kind of Google ecosystem. So all of those three platforms will be immersive, but they'll do it in their own world. So it won't kill VR websites. It'll just be part of that maybe Google ecosystem, right? But equally Amazon and Facebook. So that all then comes to where your kind of consumers shop, right? Are they Facebook? Are they Amazon? Right, and then building those experiences in those different platforms, ecosystems, right?
And I guess as a consumer, it shouldn't matter where you have that final end purchase. It doesn't matter where you do the purchase, and brands shouldn't be afraid that you can purchase on different platforms and in different ecosystems. No.
But certainly the dilemma for all retailers was valid even prior to immersive technologies. Do they want to kind of kill their website and just maintain a presence on social media, because that was the case for many of them? The numbers are simply bigger. Or do they want to invest in a kind of really multi-digital presence, as you just said, Laura, and kind of still maintain a branded, owned and operated website, but kind of also harnessing all the possibilities that social media are offering? And I think the answer will be, like, the vast majority will kind of try to cultivate and grow every single outlet and harnessing all the benefits from every single one of them, just rather than doing just website or just social, for instance.
Right, we've got a couple of minutes left. I guess we can just follow up, but maybe a kind of a one-liner from all of you on kind of what you think is I guess, not what your day at work is tomorrow, but what are you thinking about in the next coming weeks about kind of immersive experiences and how speaking to your clients and their challenges? Maybe Ben, you could kick us off there.
Really?
Yeah. What are you going to take away now? Who are you going to talk to about which one of your clients?
Well, I think it's the accessibility now, right? And taking it away from what was seen as probably gimmicky into like real user cases now. I think that's starting to come through, and I think in this kind of post-pandemic world, I think there's opportunities to deliver it in store, but equally online. And I think it's a case of just starting to think about what those business problems are and what we need to solve. I'll give you an example, actually. A couple of clients are starting to think about sustainability, right? Sustainability now for some brands is a massive issue. And I think stuff like, AR, VR can play a massive role in solving some of the sustainability issues that actually e-commerce is a massive contributor to, with, the cost of delivery and the vans and the packaging. And actually, this world can solve that certainly help, some brands who are, sustainability is a big on their agenda. Actually, it can kind of solve that business challenge for them. I think it's starting to.
Yeah, I mean,
Sorry.
Go ahead. Just following on Ben's point, like, I'm a huge fan of kind of online shopping, and I believe sustainability is a super important topic now, not only for retailers, for everyone on this planet. So what I'm really most excited about, and it's kind of really, I believe, months or maximum a few years away, is the ability to, when I'm buying, any kind of garment, jacket, trousers, etc., to hyper accurately fit them digitally with my kind of smartphone, scanning and measuring my body, and then recommending for each garment which size, and so virtually reducing the returns to zero. I mean, let's not forget the returns are the single largest contributor to why so many e-commerce ventures, Amazon aside, probably are still loss-making. And so there is the economical topic, but also the environmental efficiency topic. So I think AR can help kind of solve both problems.
And Amrita, I know you've got to drop off now, but if you had anything to add there, or else you need to go.
No, this is great. Yeah, just for this year, I would say in short term, we just really excited about social commerce and how as Ben and Marco said, the use case of these technologies becoming real for businesses, and more retailers trying these on and actually seeing the impact for themselves, because that's really the best way to see what actually can bring significant returns and significant impact on the businesses. So that's we're going to see a lot more of those implementations with retailers across the world and across categories, and that's quite exciting as well. Yeah. So yeah, thank you so much. Sorry, you have to drop off, but really
thank you guys.
We're at time. Thank you very much, everyone. I think lots of exciting things on the horizon, and technology is moving at such a fast pace that experiences are improving all the time. So yeah, I'm sure we could do this session again in 6 months with lots more examples to talk about.
Thank you guys.
Okay, thank you all.
Great. Thanks everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.